Hello, YouTube. It is Thursday, July 31st, 2025. And I forgot what time it is. Pull down, see if I can see that. 11:49 a.m. Just walking out of the Florence Public Library and Community Center, which is one of the only two places in the town of Florence. I said Coolidge because I'm very close to Coolidge, but one of only two places in the town of Florence which has public car chargers. You can see off in the distance there's two dual port charge points over there. I'm the only one using one. The other one is also charge point. I'm assuming similar stuff over at the Florence Justice Center, which, much like this community center, is on the fringes of town. This is really nice, this library, and then over there the aquatic center with all the pool and water slides, which doesn't appear to be in use right now. It's kind of sad. It's a beautiful summer day here right now. Kind of hot, but Arizona, what you want. None of this existed back when I used to come to Florence a lot. I want to say about 18 years ago. God, it's been a long time. Maybe 17 years ago. Back when I was dating Elise, long before she was pregnant with Lily, I had a karaoke show in Florence, in the town of Florence. Now, all this didn't exist back then. This is really nice. Of course, I'm looking at it from the back, so it looks backwards. But, none of this. Well, I would assume that building exists. I can tell from its architecture it's much older. It's kind of got a historic look to it. All of this new stuff. That looks nicer. I like it. Historic stuff to the south. Not quite sure what that is. But all of this stuff hadn't been built yet. I was talking to one of the librarians, and he said that it was made about 4 years ago. So it's the first time I've been through Florence in a long time, and I noticed some new houses going in on the south end, and it's kind of neat to see some changes here. I'm trying to think how many years it's been since I've been through Florence, and it feels like a decade, maybe more. But back about, say, 18 years ago, I used to have a karaoke show at a bar called Funky Monkeys. And that was back when I was driving for VIP Taxi, and I drove a lot of unaccompanied minors for CPS. That was my main thing when I drove for VIP Taxi. Carryover from their non-emergency transportation voucher business, which was called American Pony Express. And I was on the short list of drivers that was cleared to drive unaccompanied minors. And so I did a lot of that, and they used to send me to a lot of stuff out here in Pinal County, in and around Florence and Coolidge. There used to be a group home that was kind of halfway between Florence and Coolidge, where they would send problem teenagers. Not so much problem teenagers, but teenagers who were separated from the parents due to whatever issues that got CPS involved. But most notably, those ones that got sent here were ones where they had problems with them running away, where they would maybe escape to be with their friends, or so when you're in a group home, you don't have a whole lot of freedom to come and go. And teenagers, they had issues with running away to hang out with their friends, or maybe running away to try to get back to their parents or whatever. And they would house them at that group home, and there were some other ones deep into Santan Valley, and I feel like there was one I used to go to on occasion over in Casa Grande as well. And yeah, they'd move them there, and that would solve the problem, because where the hell are you going to run to out here if you're a teenager on foot, right? There's just really nowhere to go. But mostly really good kids that I drove. You know, I always used to feel really bad for so many of them being trapped in their situations, especially in the ones that would most break my heart is when I would pick up a kid and I was driving them to like a special supervised visitation center to see their parents, and I would get them there. Oh, I can feel from the heat in my hand that this phone is probably going to overheat and cut me off. Anyway, I would get those kids there, various ages. Some of them were little kids, but a lot of them were tweens, young teenagers, 12, 13, 15. And they would be pretty excited and chatty and stuff. And most of them were really happy to ride with me because I listened to a lot of music that they relate to. I mean, shoot, at the time, and this is really dating the situation, but at the time, my favorite albums were, at least the ones I was listening to the most, were Kanye West. Now I'm brain farting on the name of it. The one with Welcome to Heartbreak on it, and Heartless. And I'm drawing a blank on the name of the album right now. But at any rate, that album was a big. That was a life changer for me. That record was so different than anything I'd ever listened to, and I used to play that one constantly. And I had a really neat stereo in my cab at the time, VIP Taxi 813. That was an off-brand that probably doesn't exist anymore. Chinese made, but really engineered. Like the company that designed it and stuff was based in, I did research on them, and forget the name, but they were based in New Jersey. And it just had features that nothing else had. Nothing else like for car stereos back then had, and stuff that's completely dated now, but it was a big deal then. But it had a SD card slot in the dash, as well as a USB-A port. Wow, that's a nice new house. As well as a USB-A port where you could play MP3s. And the way I installed it in my cab, which was a Ford Crown Vic, was the spot where you mount a car stereo in a Crown Vic is a double den, and the stereo I got was a single den. So the mounting adapter basically put the stereo in, and it gave me a little space for storage right above it, or maybe right below, I forget. I think that was an option, like you could mount it either direction. At any rate, I was able to keep SD cards. And I think back then the SD cards were limited to 2 gigs. I don't think SDHC had really happened yet. But anyway, I had several 2 gig SD cards full of music. And then there was another format that came out, like an audio format that was flash in the pan. Most people don't seem to remember it at all. But SanDisk, the flash media company, which were the ones that made SD cards initially, they launched a physical media format. And Walmart supported it very well. I do recall seeing it at a few other retailers, but primarily Walmart, called Slot Music, which was basically albums in MP3 with no DRM, preloaded onto micro SD cards. And they all came with a little adapter. The first ones I bought came with a pretty nice quality SanDisk adapter, which was actually worth more than these preloaded albums I was buying, which was kind of interesting. Like if you bought that adapter separately, it cost more than buying a slot music album that came packaged with it. Yeah, sometimes stuff like that, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's just probably what they had handy, so that's what they used. Later, they made a slot music version of it that was obviously cheaper and of much lower quality. And it was funny getting a new adapter every time I bought an album. And I think I only bought like 3 albums on that format before it was gone. But Two of those three that I bought, and I remember to this day which three they were. The first two that I bought, I played to death in the car when I was driving the CPS kids. But it was whatever the current album was at that time for Rihanna, Good Girl Gone Bad. And I can't remember if it was Good Girl Gone Bad or Good Girl Gone Bad Reloaded, because they did a reissue of it. It was expanded. But yeah, I was listening to that Rihanna album all the time. That's the most I've ever really listened to Rihanna. I mean, I've listened to her other stuff, and I've liked most of her stuff. But that album, as a pop album, just really hit me. I love that. Played it all the time. And then the other one was... I should be coming up on a Taco Bell here. Trying to remember where the bar was, and I'm wondering if that was it there on the left. It was called Funky Monkeys. The bar, what do you call it? The librarian told me it's been out of business for a long time. So that's what they get for firing me with their karaoke. They were doing good when I was hosting karaoke there. Yeah, it's a long story for another time. Anyway, where is the Taco Bell? Okay, there's the McDonald's. Let's look at Google Maps. It should be, right there. It's to the south. Already put in my order on the app. I figured it'd be about a 10-minute walk. Seems like that's about what it's been. 11 minutes of video here. A little hotter than I'd want to be walking in, but my car is on a level 2 charger, and last I checked it was at like 12%, so it's going to be a while till I have enough charge to really go anywhere. There is a fast charger in Coolidge, but it is stupid overpriced. I still might end up going there, but I don't know. I'm debating between going there, getting enough juice to go into Casa Grande, where there's an Electrify America, or whether I want to go the other direction, up north into Santan Valley. There is a Tesla supercharger. I'm not fond of Tesla supercharger daytime rates, but I don't know. I'll sort it out while I'm here eating my taco and my burrito. But anyway, back to the kids. Yeah, I listened to that Rihanna album a lot, and the other one that I had on slot music, which slot music I could natively play in the with the SD card adapter, which I had in my car stereo in the car. The other one I bought was Akon Freedom, which a lot of people don't know. I'm a big fan of Akon, and I just absolutely love that album. There was not a lot of albums available on that format, so most of the stuff that was available was just popular back catalog stuff that I already had, or greatest hits packages for artists that I had pretty full discographies of and didn't want to waste my money on. Those were like 2 pop music new releases that I was interested in. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't have bought either of those albums had they not been on the slot music format and given me a chance to experience slot music. And as it turned out, I absolutely loved both albums. The other one, which I bought later, which I don't recall playing that one as much when I was driving the kids for CPS, but was The End by Black Eyed Peas. So put it in perspective, like look when those came out, when those albums were hot. It was a long time ago, but that's when I used to come to Coolidge or Florence a lot. And these buildings to the north, I don't remember those here anyway, around then. Anyway, I'm going in, getting my food, and letting my car slowly charge over at the Coolidge Library, or over at I keep saying Coolidge, over at the Florence Library. I should look at the bright side. That is a really inexpensive charge point, public charger. There are some small Arizona towns that have no public charging infrastructure, and it would have had me in the situation of begging somebody, hey, can I use your power outlet to plug in my charger, which fortunately is with me, and charging really slow, like 1.5 kilowatts versus the 6.1 kilowatts I'm charging now. So completely, a self-imposed situation. Don't take this as a reason to not get an EV, or EVs are bad, you're stupid for buying an EV. No, I'm stupid for accepting a drive to Florence and not looking at what my charging options were in Florence and doing some quick math in my head to think about what level of charge I would arrive at in Florence, and not charging at the 350 kilowatt Electrify America that is literally right adjacent to where I live before coming this way. That's what I'm stupid for.